Hey guys, this is Ray with Phone Arena and you're watching our video review of the Sony Xperia ZR, which is a new upper mid-range smartphone with great specs and a few compromises in order to justify its slightly lower price point compared to a flagship smartphone like the Xperia Z. Design-wise, the Xperia ZR is nothing out of the ordinary. Its front side looks good, it has a stylish and clean look, but the back side is made from this ordinary looking plastic, unlike the flagship Xperia Z, which had a glass back cover here giving it a more exquisite design. The Xperia ZR has this pretty generic looking back made from soft touch plastic, and on top of that its profile is significantly thicker. Because the Sony Xperia ZR is also a water-resistant smartphone, it has covers that tightly secure the micro USB port right here and the 3.5mm headphone jack right here. All the physical keys of the Xperia ZR are situated on its right hand side. So we have the power and lock key, the volume rocker and the camera shutter, which is very small. None of these keys give any significant trouble, but also none of them perform particularly well. The Sony Xperia ZR comes with a 4.5-inch display with a resolution of 720 by 1280 pixels, making for a pretty decent above average pixel density. Color balance and overall image quality are pretty high when the display is viewed straight on. Unfortunately, as you start tilting it to the side, you quickly notice that the viewing angles are actually pretty poor. Outdoor visibility with this display is about average, meaning that it won't be very easy for you to see what's going on the screen if the sun is shining brightly. The Sony Xperia ZR comes with Android 4.1.2 Jelly Bean, which is a donor because Android 4.3 is already available. However, once you power up the handset, you'll quickly find Sony's proprietary user interface here. The manufacturer has not only customized the home screen layout and the main menu, but also most of the core applications. We tend to like this customization because it's not really in your face and features some pretty cool animations like this jelly effect right here. We're glad to report that Sony has gotten rid of the little remaining lag in its custom UI. No matter if you're browsing through the home screen, the main menu, the phone book, or even the web browser, the Sony Xperia Z runs very quickly and smoothly. The Sony Xperia Z comes with the standard Jelly Bean browser, which is the mobile version of Chrome, and as we said, it runs very smoothly. Things like pinch to zoom, or double tap zooming, or scrolling through web pages are very well implemented. Of course, you also have the other standard stuff like gesture switching between open tabs. Of course, Flash is nowhere to be found right here, but overall the user experience with this browser is very good. There is a bit of high-end left in the Sony Xperia ZR, as it comes packing the Snapdragon S4 Pro chipset, which is a very powerful quad-core processor, and it also has the snappy Adreno 320 GPU. What's more, it has 2 GB of RAM and 8 GB of internal storage, meaning that pretty much every application or game that you throw at it will run flawlessly. The camera interface of the Sony Xperia ZR is pretty easy to use. You have the most important options right here in the upper left corner, which houses your different shooting modes as well as the video camera mode. There is this superior auto mode, which automatically switches your modes depending on the frame that you're going to shoot, which is a pretty cool feature, and we found that it works pretty well most of the time. All the other settings are right here in this settings menu, and as you can see, pretty much everything is very easy to reach and tweak. There is nothing that impressive about the 13 megapixel camera of the Sony Xperia ZR. We know that this is a lot of megapixels, but to tell you the truth, images don't really live up to this high number. Of course, they are good enough for sharing on Facebook or Twitter or other social networks. But our main gripe with the photos is that they often tend to be underexposed, meaning that they will often be darker than they should. Thankfully, color balance tends to be pretty neutral, which means that your shots will look more or less realistic. With the ZR, you can record 1080p video, which is suffering from the same thing, same issues. It's once again underexposed with details hovering around the mediocre, but all in all, it is passable. Naturally, with a screen this big, with 4.5 inches of real estate and this powerful processor, pretty much any video that you throw at the Sony Xperia ZR will be played almost instantly using this custom video gallery, which has a relatively pleasing UI. In addition, there is this album photo viewer, which is pretty cool. You can do various fancy stuff right here like this. So pretty cool picture viewer, and of course there is also the beloved Walkman music player, which features some additional options like this Clear Audio Plus here, which will try to give a bit more clarity to the sound, but during our testing we found it to simply be a kind of a equalizer preset. Call quality with the Sony Xperia ZR is about average. The earpiece has decent loudness, but voices tend to be a bit muffled when coming out through it. The microphone is once again about average, transmitting your voice in a clear and pretty much audible manner. However, your colors will by no means be blown away by the quality of your sounding. Battery life with the Sony Xperia ZR is also about average. But we guess that most users will be able to use the handset for about a day and a half on a single charge. The Sony Xperia ZR is a decent upper mid-range Android smartphone with a pretty good screen and a very powerful chipset inside, which will allow you to run all the latest games and applications. So all in all, you just have absolutely no problem with regards to performance with this handset. Unfortunately, it lacks the appeal of the Xperia Z flagship because of its thicker profile, this plastic back cover right here, the average camera, and the average earpiece. Its biggest problem, though, seems to be its high price, because for just a bit more, you'll be able to purchase a real flagship like the Galaxy S4 or the HTC One. So you really have to love this phone for some reason in order to justify its purchase. Thanks for watching our video review of the Sony Xperia ZR. If you'd like to learn more, be sure to check us out at phonearena.com.